Hey guys, it's Melanie. Welcome back, or welcome if you are new. I hope you're having a fantastic Sunday evening. So I was originally not planning on sharing these reviews today, but as I was getting together some candles to pre-film some content for next week, I realized that I had these two remaining ScentWorx candles that I still needed to review. So I'm gonna go ahead and get these reviews out of the way today, and that will complete the reviews from the 5 fragrances that Rakuten & Co. was kind enough to send to me so that I could share my thoughts with you. Obviously, my opinion on this whole ScentWorx revamp hasn't been super positive. I really don't love the vessels. I thought the vessels were much more aesthetically pleasing before this relaunch here. Also, the wicks have just given me a lot of troubles on these. So while some of the fragrances actually are pretty nice, for example, this sugar cookie and this s'mores, which will go up after this video here, I actually really like both of these fragrances, but the just overall performance is pretty, I would say, weak in terms of strength and throw. And really one of the main reasons that I personally utilize home fragrance is for the fragrance. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the ambiance of, you know, an open flame. It's romantic, it's cozy, it's just, you know, it's a nice vibe. But really, my main purpose here is home fragrance. And in my more high ceiling, open concept home, these ScentWorx candles have just not performed super great. So I'm definitely appreciative of Rakuten & Co. for providing these 5 candles, but I am going to be honest in terms of my experience with them. And I just think that ScentWorx kind of had a better situation with their old format. While that, you know, didn't perform the same way that HomeWorx does for me still in that older format, it definitely did better than this revamp. So anyway, for what it's worth, I'm still going to formally review the candles. So in this first video, let's dig into Sugar Cookie. I actually really like this particular scent. It kind of reminds me of a HomeWorx fragrance, and I'll tell you which one that is here in a minute. But yeah, it's a lovely fragrance. I just wish that, honestly, I could smell it a lot more than what I can. So let's go ahead and tackle in the usual review format. Let's start with the fragrance story, and then go through the individual notes, and I'll tell you what I smell. Then we'll dig into the strength and the throw, and then we will once again discuss the burn issues, which I don't think are going to be a surprise on this one, because it'll be a very similar experience to the other 3 candles that I've already reviewed. All right, the scent story reads, the richness of freshly baked sugar cookie is captured with sugar crystals, rich buttercream, and the scent of vanilla bean. So I'm going to read you the fragrance notes, which are listed on the bottom, and then we'll go through the top, middle, and bottom notes as well. So the fragrance notes read vanilla bean, buttercream, spun sugar, and sugar crystals. I think that's a pretty accurate description here. But the in-depth fragrance notes read orange rind, sugar, and crystals at the top, spun sugar and buttercream at the middle, and vanilla bean at the bottom. So what does this smell like? First of all, when I can smell this, which is usually when I'm standing over it, this really kind of reminds me of almost a better version of the, was it spun vanilla sugar? I think it was spun vanilla sugar that HomeWorx came out with. I actually had spun vanilla sugar in a luxe size, and it was intensely sweet. It was really delicious, but almost, I would say, cloying. This has a little bit of that like spun sugar kind of vibe mixed with an actual like genuine sugar cookie note. It's a really delicious gourmand. I think it actually smells quite authentic as well. So in terms of the fragrance itself, I would actually like Harry to take this exact blend and just steal it from ScentWorx and improve the formulation, improve the wicks, and then put it in a HomeWorx jar, because this in a 4-wick HomeWorx formulation, I would purchase probably in bulk. You guys, this is a delicious fragrance. Is it crazy exotic? No. Is it groundbreaking? No. It's pretty basic, but I actually do think this one is done quite well, and I really enjoy the scent itself. Like, I have nothing to complain about in terms of the fragrance here. It's authentic, it's rich, it's decadent, it's delicious. But that's kind of where I feel like the positives here kind of stop. Because let us discuss the strength and the throw. So strength and throw here, at best, at I would say peak performance, which would have been towards the beginning of the candle, was a probably almost a 5. Not quite a 5. I would say maybe like between 4.5 and 5. I know that's a little bit persnickety, but like, I mean, it was almost a medium performance, but I'm gonna call it like maybe a medium light performance. It just left me wanting a lot more because it is such a delicious fragrance. This really struggled in the downstairs open concept area. Now, I did try this one in our upstairs master bedroom, and up there, I actually think I smelled it a little bit more. So maybe in my master bedroom, I would give this a strength of like about a 5, but that's just at the beginning. Because now that I'm on my last burn, you guys, I'm not even smelling it, and I'm sitting right next to it. Yeah, it just, after about, I would say halfway, it got really difficult to find the scent again in the room. Again, if you are standing next to it, or if you're walking past it, you absolutely get whiffs of this one. You know that you have a candle lit, if that makes sense, but you're really kind of having to like put your sniffer to work, if you will, to kind of find, you know, what it is, what the nuances are. And that's just not the type of home fragrance experience that I'm personally looking for in terms of strength and throw. So I'm definitely disappointed in that aspect here. Now, lastly, let's dig into the overall burn quality, because this is probably my second biggest beef here with the revamp, and that is that these wicks, number one, just disintegrate. They'll do they'll do great for the first couple of burns, but after that, I feel like these wicks just kind of consume themselves, and I am left with that puny wick syndrome, which then means that I have to pour out some of this wax to give the wicks a little bit of room to hopefully recover. And that just seems very wasteful. If you are constantly having to either remove some wax by pouring it out or using cotton balls or whatever your technique is, you're wasting product, essentially. You are, you know, getting rid of something that you could actually burn and enjoy. But you have to give these wicks a little bit of room to be able to, you know, actually do their job. So typically what happens, and this has been the norm, is I will have a, you know, a drowning wick situation. So I get rid of some of the wax, I let everything harden back up, and then maybe a few hours later or the next day, I go back to relight the candle. Then it's fine for another burn or two. Then it gets into another situation of where the wicks start to disintegrate, and I'm left with that puny wick syndrome, and then I am left pouring out wax again. And that's just a vicious cycle that I have done essentially with all of these ScentWorx candles that I have burned. And that's just a lot of babysitting. And that's not something that I'm necessarily interested in when it comes to home fragrance. I will do it for something that is, you know, an absolutely unique, one-of-a-kind fragrance. I might consider it for something like that, but not for a candle like this. So let me show you guys the overhead shot and then we'll wrap it up. I feel like you're getting the gist here. I like the fragrance, but I mean, it's just not giving me the greatest performance. So you can see here that I'm pretty low in the overall wax pool. So this should probably be my last burn. I think I'm just gonna let this go and extinguish itself. But there's a look at the side of the jar. So you don't see a ton of discoloration or anything like that. So this didn't necessarily get sooty on me, but there's quite a bit of wax residue that is left around the side, which that's not a huge deal. But yeah, it just, the strength and throw here, and then these wicks being problematic just kind of makes this one a tough one to enjoy, despite me really being just naturally drawn to the fragrance. Because listen, it's a great gourmand. I have always said this. I think that Harry really is the king of the gourmand candles. He just knows how to do them incredibly well. And listen, I think there's some potential to maybe fix these ScentWorx issues, hopefully. I really hope that they can, you know, figure this out, because I do think it's nice to have an affordable candle option that is available in store, and the price point at Walmart is super affordable. But I do think that even for that low price point, these should perform a little bit better. So anyway, those are my thoughts. Stay tuned for my review of s'mores. That'll be going up here in another hour or two. I appreciate you guys being here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Toodaloo.